Well, finally, weather modification has made its way back into the mainstream media. Why? Because the NWO, their mask has slipped. The shadow government. All right? So it seems. Now, has it slipped so far as to do any permanent damage? Time will tell. However, considering Hurricane Helene and the aftermath and the damage up through Appalachia, Tampa Bay and the Gulf side, west coast of Florida, is bracing for Hurricane Milton, which the last I heard, they're talking about Category 4, just 10 miles short of Category 5 hurricane when it is supposed to hit shore somewhere between Northport and Tampa Bay on Wednesday, sometime in the night. So they're predicting. And they're predicting it to go kind of across right up around through Jacksonville area and out into the Atlantic. But who's to say that they're not just going to give it another old little nudge and a push right up through Appalachia and the East Coast again? And let's not forget, they've got another one coming right after Milton as well. Now that we can sit here and actually have an open conversation about something that's been happening since the end of World War II and into the 1950s of all things. 1950s, it's ancient technology. Listen, when you're talking about, friends, when you're talking about the 3 states of water and it can exist in like a gas, a solid, or a liquid, and how you change one to the other through temperatures and, oh, wouldn't you know it? RF frequency, manipulating the ether, radio waves, microwaves, lasers. That's all in the electromagnetic spectrum. Water reacts with it. Water in the atmosphere, water on the ground, water in your neighbor's fridge, water in your body. So it's amazing to me how everybody, it's because, friends, and I'm not trying to put this on anybody else. It's a good time to give a salute to everybody here in Western civilization for being brainwashed to the nth degree, because that's really by design. And they brainwash you into thinking that things couldn't possibly be true because you're always thirsty for information. We don't have to go through the science of that. I've come to the conclusion that there ain't no such thing as a coincidence, and there's certainly no such thing as a conspiracy theory, okay? Because at this point, the cat is out of the bag. The cat is out of the bag. Now, what's sad is for those who are in the know to realize that there's still, like, everybody's not the same in that sense. There's many people who don't even give a shit, who don't understand. And that's kind of the way that they want you, to not care, to believe everything that's told to you from a person in charge, a person that has been voted in the policies that they set forth. Friends, we've got to do something. We really have to do something about this shit. I'm activated. But I'm also activated in a way that's not going to get me kicked off of YouTube for blathering out in that sense. I'm probably going to end up having a lot more pauses because in real time, I'm obviously going unscripted, unedited. I have a hard time. I have to hold myself back because the third-party censors that Google and Facebook, I'm not on Facebook, but the third-party censors that go around and actively carry all of this out, especially when it comes to a certain vaccine that was rolled out back in 2021, 2022. And a lot of the data that's coming out right now, factual data, fact-based stuff, is being considered misinformation because it doesn't fit into the narrative of the greater agenda of the what we'll call New World Order or the globalists, if you will. Now, I don't know. Maybe I would be a globalist too if I was that stinky rich. but I'm more of a humanist. Listen, I have been going deep on the issues at the southern border. What was that movie that I watched yesterday? I probably shouldn't do that to you. I should have a script. My apologies. We'll continue. I don't like to sit here and forget things for you. You didn't come here for that. So what we did come here for with, I've been saving aside some of these clips that I have long forgotten or haven't seen, because over the years, when it comes to weather modification in this sense, they've been talking about it in little clips here and there, and that's how you come to learn about this in the grand scheme of things over a longer period of time. But here's one of those examples from C-SPAN. Now, I'm just going to present you a short video to remind you of this little gem right here when it comes to not just the ability to manipulate. Holy Jesus. Now, let's listen to this little clip right now, because they mentioned the New World Order and manipulating the weather in the same little clip. It's very rare. I like it. Now listen to this.
Sure. Another question on the in an interview with the Los Angeles Times on April 21st, you said that you told the Associated Press that the American government has created weather tampering techniques so that the New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans and to control the rest. Would you explain what you were trying to say?
Well, what I was trying to say is exactly what I said. There is weather control techniques. We have a complete package on that, which I did not bring, but I certainly will see to it that it is brought in for the record. Number one, the entire patents on the equipment. Number two, Senator Claiborne Pell's complete statement and story of his own, that not only does it exist, that we even utilize it as far back as the Vietnam War. You might want to touch base with Senator Pell.
I just want to repeat before we turn to
questions. Yes, but we do have all that information.
You're saying the government has created weather tampering techniques so that the, quote, New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans.
Worldwide.
Millions of Americans, and to control the rest.
Yes, sir, and that's my belief. As bizarre as that sounds, if somebody had told me that equipment even existed 10 years ago, I would have thought they were nuts, sir. And at this point in time, we have all the documents to prove it. And if you think that 85 tornadoes takes place in the middle of our growing area by simultaneous accident, I'm sorry. With the equipment that's already set up internationally, and as bizarre as that is, it is proven and documented. We will supply you with those documents. As bizarre as that is, I would say that weather wars, and this is quoting actually Senator Claiborne Pell himself, that they are the greatest weapon ever created in the world, and that's the senator's own statement. So yes, I do stand on that.
Thank you, Mr. Fletcher. Thank you, Mr.
Friends, get that conversation started in the comment section below. I'm going to follow up with a second weather manipulation clip. That one's a gem. This one is a gem. But you'll know that, you know what an oil platform looks like, where they drill for oil or natural gas in the ocean's floor. Well, they've got a few, and by they, I mean, we'll call it I'm sure it's NASA and the U.S. And NASA. Who exactly owns them? BlackRock, probably. I'm just kidding. But they're great big platforms with big geodesic domes on top of them, big radar stations that look like what you would otherwise recognize to be Doppler radar. Well, there's one in the Gulf. I don't know where they actually keep them. They tow them around, but you see them. And, you know, there used to be a time way back, and this has to do with a lot of different weapon systems, especially on the electromagnetic spectrum, electromagnetic weapons, you know, that are crazy conspiracy theories as more technologically advanced as we get. Well, they weren't so conspiracy theory back in the 70s and 80s when people talked about them openly. Now they want to brainwash and condition people that aren't usually in the know, that are just getting to know things and trying to figure things out. Oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. That's just hoopla. That's just fantasy. That doesn't exist. Listen, if you can think it, you can do it. Of course, if you were in control of these things, you certainly wouldn't want people to know that you had these things, or they would be wise to you. You are just going to take a stance of denial, denial, denial. Especially in this day and age when people are so tied to their means of communication, their phones. Wake up, white people. I'll see you next time.